let's talk a little bit about behavioral finance.
Mhm. Yeah,
So,
it's the only reason we're talking about this because sorry to jump in here. One of the things I like to say is if math or if money was just math, we'd have it all calculated out. Like there's all
yeah.
these rules, there's all these percentages. If behavioral finance didn't exist, money would be easy. So it's the only reason we're actually talking about all this is because there's behavior involved and human like interactions and stuff. A personal story here of my wife and I trying to figure out how to pay off her student loans. Okay. I am very math oriented. I'm the spreadsheet nerd in our relationship, hence why I'm the one who's talking about money and stuff like that. And my wife helps keep me grounded with helping me realize some of the behavioral and emotional aspects of money with her student loans. I wanted to draw out paying those off because the interest wasn't too much. We could earn just about the same amount of interest in a regular high yield account
Mhm.
or more investing. So I was looking at opportunity costs and things like that and looking at the math saying, mathematically, if we did it this way, it could be better for us. And she comes to me crying. I'm like, why are you crying? What's wrong with this? This plan's great. We're going to have a lot of money. And she said, as long as we have those loans, I feel like I have to work. And
Yeah.
speaking to financial independence, that's not usually a plan in financial independence is being forced to work because of debt. So that clicked with me. I'm like, oh, well, there we go. We have to pay them off. Like it wasn't even a debate for me at that point because of that behavioral aspect of the requirement for her to have to be in a high earning job because of her master's degree and things like that until the loans were paid off. So just to even, she's not saying she's going to quit her job as soon as they get paid off, but just to have that breathing room of, hey, I need to take a year off and I can do that because we don't owe any debt. I think that's a great example of it that my wife and I had to work through of there's so much more to it than just the math and the emotions can play a huge role in it.
Yeah, well, and then they play into sort of just how you feel otherwise, and that's gonna like you keep saying, right? Money it affects all the different areas of our lives, right? So if you're stressed about the money, then that's going to carry over into sort of other things and other decisions, and then you may find that you're
Mm-hmm.
spending money on things that are really kind of more of a distraction because you're not really dealing with kind of this other root cause of some sort of
Mm-hmm.
economic anxiety, and so that makes a lot of sense to me. And just from a strictly math point of view, right? Strictly the numbers. So let's
Mm-hmm.
say you guys have student loans, and let's say the interest rate on those student loans was 5%. So currently, right, you could put that money into a high yield savings account or a high yield CD and make the same
Mm-hmm.
amount. So why pay off the loan when you can make the same? Or if you invested that money somewhere where you're earning 8%, you're actually still 3% ahead of paying off
Mm-hmm.
those loans. That's the strict math.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get into, but man, if it's stressing her out,
Mm-hmm.
mathematically speaking,
That's like a negative 20% interest
yeah.
rate if my wife's stressed.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and it's not worth it, right? I mean, because
mhm,
again, the whole point of the money is to give you a better life. It's a tool,
mhm,
right? So if it makes
yeah,
more sense, like, we'll do this for a short period of time, even though mathematically it's not ideal, but so what, right? We'll make it up on the other side of
mhm,
things. And like, this is going to make us feel better, then do that. So I think that
mhm.
is a great example of behavioral finance versus just straight numbers.
Yeah, and it can be so hard for my fellow math nerds out there. You know the power of compound interest, and you know saying,
Mm.
let's get the money in sooner so it's invested sooner so that it can grow more over time, and then we can pay off the loans. It was really hard for me because I'm like, the math makes so much sense to invest it. And and thankfully through talking about it, we realized, okay, we need to pay these off a little sooner. And we found ourselves in a position now where we're like, oh, because of the effort we put on the front end, these numbers are smaller. So actually, we can pay it off in 2 years by using a smaller amount than we thought we would need.
Cool.
So there comes the money that we're able to invest where we thought we were going to need more to pay off these loans. So just, I guess, working hard and actually talking through it, you're going to realize opportunities that it's all going to be fine. Like we're going to have enough money to retire. We're going to retire early. We're not worried about that. Is it maybe 1 year later than it would have been, but we're able to enjoy life more now? That's an easy decision every single time.
Yeah. Want to continue this conversation? You can check out full episodes of the FI for Kids podcast right here at YouTube. Just hit subscribe and you'll get new episodes in your feed every Thursday.